You're listening to 10 Minute Murder.
August 9th, 2017, Stillwater, Oklahoma. A man walks into a bail bonds office thinking he's there to talk about selling his car. Minutes later, he's trying to climb out of a window, trying to escape. Then a gunshot. He falls to the pavement outside, dying from a bullet wound to his back. The person who pulled the trigger? His own bail bondsman. And she walked away a free woman. So let's talk about what happened in Stillwater, Oklahoma on a summer day in 2017, because this case is one of those stories that makes you wonder about the system we've built and who we trust with power. Brandon James Williams was 38 years old. He'd gotten into some legal trouble in late July 2017. Police arrested him for 3 counts of second-degree burglary and possession of marijuana. The burglaries were at a local restaurant in Stillwater, Freddie Paul's Restaurant, Curly's Old-Fashioned Hamburgers, and Palomino's Mexican Restaurant. He needed to get out of jail while he waited for these court dates, so he turned to Chastity Dawn Carey's company, Signature Bail Bonds. Carey posted a $35,000 bond for Brandon on July 31st. That's how the bail system works. You pay someone to guarantee you'll show up to court, and Brandon owed Carey about $3,500 for doing that. If you don't show up, the bondsman comes to get you. And in Oklahoma, bail bondsmen have some pretty serious authority to do that. Chastity Carey was 41 years old, a licensed bail bondsman operating out of downtown Stillwater in the town center building on West 7th Avenue. She had a 19-year-old son named Justin Henderson, who sometimes helped her with the business. On the night of August 8th, Carey got a text from Brandon. It said, "Gone to Florida." According to Brandon's ex-wife, Ashley, Brandon had told Carey that he needed to go to Florida for his mother's funeral. His mother had passed away the week before. Carey apparently interpreted this differently. She thought Brandon was skipping town to avoid paying her and to avoid his court dates. So she came up with a plan. On the morning of August 9th, Carey called Brandon and told him to come to her office. She didn't tell him that she was planning to revoke his bond and take him straight to jail. Instead, she told him her son Justin wanted to buy his Ford Mustang. Brandon had put up the car as collateral when he got the bond, so this seemed like a normal business conversation. Before Brandon arrived, Justin Henderson set up a GoPro camera in the corner of the office. It was running when Brandon walked in around 11:45 in the morning. The video shows what happened next, and it's been released to the public. Brandon walks in and sits down. For a few minutes, everything seems casual. They're talking about cars, joking around. Then Carey stands up and walks over to the door. She locks it. The mood shifts immediately. She tells Brandon to put his hands behind his back. She tells him multiple times. Brandon starts to panic. "What do you mean?" he says. "What's going on here?" Carey and her son move toward him with handcuffs. Brandon tells him not to touch him. He backs away from them, asking, "What are you doing this for?" You can hear the confusion and fear in his voice. And I'll play some of the audio from the video clip so that you can hear exactly what I'm talking about. But as he moves out of frame, behind Carey's desk, there's a window there, a balcony window with curtains. You can see the curtains swing outward. Brandon is trying to climb out the window to escape. Carey runs over to her desk drawer, and she grabs her gun, and she shoots. One shot. You can hear Brandon scream, "You shot me." Justin yells, "Mom, you just shot him." Carey's response, "I did."
They are. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I see that pretty little Challenger down there.
Oh yeah, my Challenger's absolutely gorgeous.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. That's freaking like gorgeous.
I like it.
Yeah. And punch back. Turn around.
What?
Turn around.
What do you mean?
Turn around.
What's going on here?
I'm going to sit and talk to you with cups. We're going to have a chat. Turn around.
Well, I'm not getting no cups.
Yeah, actually you are.
For what?
I've got PD on the web where you can turn around and put your hands behind your back.
For what?
Turn around.
Open the door.
No,
Hey,
turn around.
don't put your hands on me.
Turn around, put your hands behind your back.
Don't put your hands
Turn
on
around
me.
and put your hands behind your back.
Why? What are you doing this to me for? Why are you doing this?
Sit down. Hands behind your
What are you doing this to me for, man? Wow.
Holy
Mom, you just shot him.
I did. Call PD.
Mom, oh my God.
911. 911.
Mom, you.
911.
She called 911 right after that. The call is chilling to listen to. I just shot a man on top of the roof of the town center, she tells the dispatcher. She says she's a bondsman and that Williams was coming after her. She tells them to hurry. When Stillwater police arrived, they found Brandon dead on the balcony outside the emergency exit. He'd been shot in the back. He was unarmed. He had no weapon on him at all. Police Captain Kyle Gibbs said Carrie cooperated with investigators that day. She told them she'd called Brandon to the office to revoke his bond and take him back to Payne County Sheriff's Office. She said a fight broke out. She said Brandon tried to grab her gun during the struggle and she shot him in self-defense. The police looked at the video footage. They talked to Justin Henderson, who was the only witness, and they came to the conclusion, according to Captain Gibbs, witness statements as well as evidence found at the scene, including video evidence, contradict Carrie's version of the event. The same evening, around 6:30 p.m., police arrested Carrie at her home in Drumright. She was charged with first-degree murder. The case went to trial March 2018. The Payne County District Attorney's Office charged Carrie with first-degree murder, which requires proof of deliberate intent and premeditation. If convicted, she faced life in prison. The trial lasted 4 days. On Thursday, the jury watched the GoPro video. They saw everything I just described. They saw Brandon walk in unsuspecting. They saw him try to escape. They saw Carrie shoot him in the back. On Friday, they heard closing arguments and began deliberating. The defense strategy was focused entirely on fear and self-defense. Carrie testified that Brandon tried to grab her gun. She said she beat him to it, meaning she got control of the weapon first. The critical piece of her defense was her claim that she was afraid Brandon was going to shoot her son, Justin. That fear, she argued, justified the shooting, even though Brandon was shot in the back, even though he was trying to escape through a window, even though he was unarmed, because in her mind, in that moment, he was still a deadly threat. The jury came back with a verdict pretty quickly. Not guilty. Chastity Carey walked out of that courtroom a free woman. According to her defense attorney, some jurors later said that if she'd been charged with manslaughter instead of first-degree murder, they would have convicted her. The problem was the prosecution's burden of proof on the murder charge. They had to prove deliberate intent and premeditation, and the jury apparently didn't believe that standard had been met. The district attorney, Laura Austin Thomas, released a statement after the verdict. She said she stood by her decision to file first-degree murder charges based on the evidence. She talked about respecting the jury system and the burden every participant carries in a criminal trial. She was careful not to criticize the verdict. Brandon's ex-wife, Ashley, spoke out after the trial. She told reporters that she'd never been contacted by the DA's office. According to a prosecutor, they weren't aware Brandon had an ex-wife or a young son until the trial was over. Brandon had a 2-year-old son named James, named after his father, and that little boy will never know his dad. Ashley watched the video of the shooting after it was released. Her reaction was simple. Quote, "Honestly, it seems very malicious." She had a message for Chastity Carey. Quote, "I hope your decision will haunt you forever. You've had one judgment day, but you'll have another. You had no right taking someone's life. No right." The family's attorney, Noble McIntyre, put it bluntly. The video is obviously shocking. To anybody who's seen the video, they're going to be asking themselves, how in the world did this jury come to the conclusion that they came to? The family planned to file a civil lawsuit against Carey. McIntyre said, "There's a little 2-year-old who doesn't have a father anymore, and he's never going to have a father. It doesn't matter if there's money or not. It's not bringing him back, but they want to do justice for him." And Chastity Carey? Through her attorney, she said she intended to go back to work as a bail bondsman by the end of the week after her acquittal. She claimed she'd lost everything while she was incarcerated awaiting trial. Here's what keeps me up at night about this case. Under Oklahoma law, bail bondsmen are required to get training on the proper use of force. There's a specific statute that states bail enforcers can't use force that's unnecessary, excessive, or unreasonable. Chastity Carey had that training. She knew those rules, and yet she lured Brandon Williams to her office under false pretenses. She locked the door so he couldn't leave. When he tried to escape out of a window, she shot him in the back. And a jury said that was okay because she claimed she was scared. Think about what that means. Professional standards about using force become essentially meaningless when someone can successfully claim fear. Subjective feelings override objective evidence about whether someone was actually dangerous. The video shows what happened. Brandon was unarmed. He was trying to get away. He asked multiple times what was happening, why she was doing this. He didn't attack anyone. He didn't threaten anyone. He tried to get away, and she killed him for it. Compare this to police shootings. When officers shoot fleeing suspects, especially when they shoot them in the back, those cases often result in charges, trials, national scrutiny. There are investigations into whether the threat was real and immediate. There are questions about training and protocols and whether the use of force was justified. Chastity Carey was a private citizen with a bail enforcement license. She had financial incentives tied to keeping Brandon in the system. She owed him nothing in terms of due process or constitutional protections, and she walked away from killing him completely cleared. Thanks for listening to 10 Minute Murder, bingeable true crime stories. I'm Joe, I'm the host, and let's get to a quick email. Subject, the unintentional nap. Hi, Joe. Okay, this sounds weird. I love your voice, and sometimes I fall asleep listening to 10 Minute Murder, which means I occasionally wake up to you calmly describing a homicide. It's unsettling and oddly relaxing at the same time. Do you get that a lot? People saying your voice is soothing even when the topic isn't? It's from Sarah in Knoxville. And Sarah, you have no idea. Yes. And I'd like to say I'm doing it on purpose. I'm talking that way on purpose so that I'm not sounding over dramatic or I'm not sensationalizing a story just to make you feel a certain way. I'm not. This is just how I talk. So yes, I hear that a lot, and I'm conscious of the fact that I do that. But I don't want to not do it because then that would seem fake to me. Someone else told me that I was like a Mr. Rogers that talks about murder. And I don't know if that's a compliment or I'm going to choose to take it as a compliment. But yeah. Hey, if you're a new listener to the podcast, welcome in. Make sure you hit subscribe wherever you're listening right now. You can go to 10minutemurder.com, which is no doubt where Sarah from Knoxville went to send me an email. Go to 10minutemurder.com. You can send me an email there. You can check out the blog there. Sign up for the newsletter that I send out weekly. You can do that there as well. And you can use it to share the podcast with your friends and family. If there's a particular episode you want someone to hear, you can go to the website, find that episode. Pretty simple. There's a search feature there. And then just boom, you can send it right to them right there. And by the way, that is so important. Sharing the podcast with your friends and family. Imagine if none of you did that. Who would listen to it tomorrow? Just you same people, which is fine. But I don't know about you, but I like growing. Without you sharing the podcast with your friends and your family and anyone that you think could be into this type of thing, it's not going to do that. It's not going to grow. It's not going to reach more people. So that's happening. People are sharing this podcast because I see the numbers and I really super appreciate it. And that's going to do it. That's your episode for today. Thank you again for listening to 10 Minute Murder. See you next time.